What do you think of when you hear the words child soldier? Don't answer that. It's rhetorical. My first thought was Coney 2012. Most people think of child soldiers as something that happens in third world countries. They aren't wrong. More than 300,000 child soldiers currently serve in the world. Child soldiers currently serve in these governments' forces and in armed groups in these countries. I've said child soldiers quite a bit, but what are child soldiers? A child soldier is defined by UNICEF, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, brought to you by the United Nations, as a child associated with an armed force or armed group. Refers to any person below 18 years of age who is or who has been recruited or used by an armed force or armed group in any capacity, including, but not limited to, children, boys and girls, used as fighters, cooks, porters, messengers, spies, or for sexual purposes. It does not only refer to a child who is taking or has taken a direct part in hostilities. So UNICEF frowns upon the use of military personnel under the age of 18. But is it actually illegal to do that? Yes and no. The Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, Article 8, War Crimes B, XXVI, says, conscripting or enlisting children under the age of 15 years into the national armed forces or using them to participate actively in hostilities. So according to the International Criminal Court, it is a war crime to use children under the age of 15. Some children are forced to join in their armies.
So he's saying during that time, it's not that the love of killing is there. But once the time comes, they have decided to kill, you have to kill. If you don't kill, you are the one going to be killed. So for you to keep on living your life, you have to kill.
Some children are not forced to join the armed groups.
Ndio niliwaambia, wakasema ndio niende, kwani ile nakuwa kaoneo mubaya, hawezi vumilia nao, umwe niende na mie nyangali gisi ndeza wasaidia.
So, aside from the the International Criminal Court, the UN Declaration of Human Rights, Article 20b states, no one may be compelled to belong to an association. So the people who force child soldiers to join their armed groups are defying the declaration and breaking that specific law. So those are the laws and rights being broken and violated. But what is being done about it, and is it enough? Well, according to Article 77 in the Rome Statute, those committing war crimes can be imprisoned for 30 years or a life term, depending on the gravity of the crime. They also can be made to forfeit anything gained by committing that crime. One person who has been charged and sentenced with the crime of enlisting child soldiers is Thomas Lubanga, who throughout the early 2000s enlisted child soldiers. In 2006, he surrendered to authorities, and in 2014, he was sentenced.
The majority sentences Mr. Lubanga first for having committed jointly with other persons the crime of conscripting children under the age of 15 into the UPC to 13 years imprisonment. For having committed jointly with other persons the crime of enlisting children under the age of 15 years into the UPC to 12 years imprisonment. And third, for having committed jointly with other persons the crime of using children under the age of 15 to participate actively in hostilities to 14 years imprisonment. Pursuant to Article 78.3 of the statute, the total period of imprisonment on the basis of the joint sentence is 14 years imprisonment.
Is Article 77 enough to deter people from using child soldiers? I think it is a good deterrent, but I don't think it will stop people, as ISIS still uses child soldiers, and they are going to continue using child soldiers because they mainly ignore everybody except themselves.